the well of regeneration. We'll give everyone a minute or two to log on. And I am delighted to be with you all this morning. We have a wonderful team together working on this, including our amazing interpreters, Dionysus and Sarah Comerford, who you'll see providing ASL interpretation. Charles Williams, who is doing our tech hosting and also is our lead co-teacher for Earth Activist Training. And Mariah Master is here, who is our student coordinator and who is helping answer all the support emails. And Diane Perazzo, the Magnificent, who has been closed captioning so many of our rituals and courses for the last few years, so that hopefully you can see closed captions done by an actual human being and not the sometimes interesting results we get from artificial intelligence. It's really wonderful to see all of you here right now. And we're going to begin with a land acknowledgement. Then I'll just give you a little preview of what we're going to be doing. We're going to create our sacred space, grounding and calling in the elements. We're going to be invoking Brigid in some of her forms. And we're going to be taking a journey to her well and her well of regeneration. So I don't know about you, but personally, I can definitely use a little regeneration right now. It's been interesting and sometimes a bit challenging this winter with storms and with falling trees and power outages as we were doing a course. With all kinds of things going on in the political world, some wonderful things going on in my personal life and hopefully in yours, but also some deaths and some losses and a lot of people needing healing. So it seems like a really important time to be calling on some of those powers that Brigid represents, of regeneration, of forging, of poetry, and of healing. So I'm going to begin by asking Mariah if you would do our land acknowledgement for us.
Okay, thank you, Starhawk. Hello, everyone. My name is Mariah. I'm currently residing on the occupied lands of the Ute, Cheyenne, and Arapaho, also known as Denver, Colorado. Let us take a moment and a few deep breaths to acknowledge the Indigenous people who have tended these lands before we did. We give thanks and praise for their caretaking. We also give another breath of sorrow for the loss of some of these tribes. I would like you to take a moment and share in the chat the name of the people or tribes who lived on these lands before you. And if you don't know these people, you're encouraged to find out and even donate or connect with an organization if you're able. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mariah. And thank you to everybody who are putting in the chat some of the beautiful names of the Indigenous peoples of the land that you're on. I know some of you here are in Europe and around the world. So sometimes it works a little differently there, but if you know who the original tribes were, or in some places like in Britain, sometimes there are waves of invasions and migrations, about. But I think it's important and it's empowering to learn something about that history and to recognize that all of us, whoever we are, originally come from people who had a deep relationship and connection to the land that they were on. Otherwise, they wouldn't have survived and we wouldn't be here. So all of us have the capacity somewhere in our roots and our ancestry to find that deep connection with the land. Now, when we begin ritual, we always start with the grounding. So I'm going to lead you through that right now. So find a way to settle and sit comfortably, be comfortable, and stand if you're more comfortable that way. And take some deep breaths. And let's start with some deep breaths into your belly. Breathing in, breathing out. You can actually take your hands, put them up down on your diaphragm. Feel it expand as you inhale. And contract as you exhale. Again, expand. And contract. I'm seeing a message that my sound is low. Is it better if I speak up a little bit?
You could turn your mic up a little bit, Star.
Let's check my microphone. How is that? Is that any better?
That's better.
Okay. Great. Glad we could settle that. So let's just take another deep breath in and out. And thanks, Nikki, for alerting us to that. And now if you want to close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you have roots going down from the base of your spine, down through your legs and feet, down into the earth. And they're magic roots that can push all the way down through the soil, the mud, the rock, all the layers of soil, all the places where water is held and pooled in the earth. Pushing down through layers of bedrock, all the way down into that heart of fire, that molten lake of fire at the heart of the earth. And just take a moment, and if there's anything you want to release or let go of, just let it go down. Ooh. Down through your roots, down through your spine, down through your legs and feet, all the way down into the earth, into that molten heart of fire. And let's do that again. Just you can even like do a little auric brush down if there's anything you want to release. Down into that fire. Down into that living pool of earth energy. It's still hot from the Earth's formation. And one more time, you can let this go with a sound. You can unmute if you want to. Ah. And just feel that fire as it burns, as it takes that and turns that into pure living energy. And you can take a deep breath and you can breathe some of that up through your roots, up through your legs and feet, up into the base of your spine, your belly. Feel your spine stretching up like a living tree trunk. You can even imagine a little thread here at the top of your head and pulling it up a little bit. Feel that energy moving up your spine, up into your heart, up into your shoulders and down through your arms into your hands, up through your neck and throat and out the top of your head like branches. Feel it reach up to the sky and sweep back down, touch the earth. And just feel the sunlight on those leaves and branches, or maybe where you are, it's actually moonlight. It's full moon tonight. Starlight. Feel that beautiful sky energy. And take a breath and draw it in, draw it down. Down through the top of your head, down to your heart, your hands and your belly, down through your legs and feet into the earth. And just take a breath and just let that energy flow up and through you and down and through you. And now take a moment and focus a little bit on those leaves and branches. Imagine that is your filter that can filter out negative energies or stuff coming at you and can allow in what's positive and what's good. And just take a breath and observe it. Look it over. Notice, are there any places where there's some holes in it? Or some of those branches have been broken off, or someone's pushed through your boundaries. And you can take a breath and you can actually fill that out. You can breathe back and fill out those leaves and those branches. Rebuild that filter. Are there any cords there? Any energetic cords to someone? If you're a parent of a small child, then it's appropriate to have a cord because you're linked to them energetically. It's how they survive. But other than that, you don't want to be corded in, even to someone you love deeply. It's better to have the energy flowing freely. So just take a moment and pop those cords out. And sometimes people will kind of hook little cords into you, like people you somehow feel obligated to take care of or make them feel right, even though it never actually succeeds in doing that. You have anyone like that in your life? You know, politicians will do that. Some of them seem especially good at courting people into them, and just notice that. And again, just pop it out. It's not something harmful or mean. It's just sending that energy back. You can send it back with a blessing if you want, so that your own energy can flow freely. Ex-lovers, yeah, often there's some big cords there. lovers that you wish were your lover but don't seem that interested. Again, just pop it out. Let that energy flow. Just that filter so that good things can come in. And now as you breathe, notice if there's any places where that filter is too thick. You know, sometimes we get hurt over and over again the same way. We build up defenses that are like a knob and nothing can come in again. Good stuff can't come in. So just take a breath and release some of that. Again, you can use that earth energy, that sky energy, that beautiful mixture to sort of dissolve some of that and maintain like that nice filter, those branches, those leaves. You don't want to let go of all your protection, but you want to open it up enough so good stuff can come in. And then taking a breath when your energy field kind of is like you want it to be. Just take a breath, fill it with light, that earth fire, that sky radiance, and maybe just put a little seal around it. And hopefully we are grounded now. And now that we're grounded, I'm going to ask Charles if you will create our circle for us. Charles is my co-teacher in Earth Activist Training and our lead administrator. He's also a brilliant permaculture designer and land manager and all around really nice guy. And he's going to create our circle for us today. This is a benefit today for Earth Activist Training. It's helping us recover some of the losses we've had from the storms and from COVID and all the various transitions around that. So we've got our team out here working with us. Take it away, Charles.
I hope everybody will help me cast the circle today to invite in the elements. And I invite you all to face east or just stretch an arm out to the east. This place where the sun rises every day. This place where new beginnings happen. From here, let's start our circle. From this grounded place, take a breath up and push some energy out in that direction. As if we're going to like paint a wall, an energetic wall around us. Just like start in the east. Let's invite that east in, that air, that new beginning. Good communication, listening and hearing, clarity of thought. And let's carry that around. Just move that around from the east to the south. Continue our circle around and invite in the fire of the south. Inspiration, where the sun is the highest. Energy, joy, exuberance, creativity. Let's invite all that into us today as we go from the south. And move on, creating that circle around to the west. The land of water. Deep oceans, bubbling springs, rain, all those emotions, some deep, some shallow, some that pitter and some that storm. Let's invite in all that joy, all those feelings of sorrow, maybe fear, maybe excitement. Let's invite all those in today. Welcome to the West. And continuing on to the north, the land of earth. Solid, tangible things. Good food, sleep, rocks and stones, the things that make up our world and us able to see each other, that build our arms, that allow us to hold each other, that create the tools we use to communicate. So to the north and all that's physical, welcome to the north. And back to the east. And let's swing that circle above us like a giant dome. Like living in a pearl. And swing it down below us. And in the center, you say, welcome to center, the nexus, the place that we connect, the place that we come together, the place that's called spirit. To spirit, I say, welcome. So the air, fire, water, and earth, and all in between, our circles cast. Welcome.
I hope I'm in the right place now.
I believe you are. If you're here
Okay.
for the ritual of Brigid, you're in the right place.
Yes, yes. Been in the other chat room for about 25 minutes now. Not chat room, the other Zoom. That's so strange.
Starhawk,
Okay,
you're muted.
well, this link got posted in the other room, so all those folks are probably coming over. Hi, Carl.
Okay.
Hi, Barun.
Okay, there.
Hi,
I see you
everybody.
now. Hi.
Yet there were about 150 participants in an incorrect Zoom room for about the last 20 to 25 minutes. So
I'm so sorry about that. I don't know how that happened, but hopefully everyone will come over here now.
yeah, just
we,
so
we
everyone
were sharing poetry and
Uh-huh.
and moving forward anyway.
Oh, that's good. Right.
Yeah, we were getting ready to cast a circle because
Uh-huh. Wow. Really? Well, we maybe we'll do a quick start over. We did ground and cast the circle, but you can never ground too many times. So we'll give everyone a minute to get here. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah. Very sorry about that. I don't know how it happened, but I don't even know if Mercury's retrograde at this point. But there must
It
be
wasn't,
something
but-
astrological we can blame it on.
absolutely.
Maybe it was the Chinese spy balloon.
One of the things I was asking, but nobody there seemed to know from Vermont Witch Camp, was a chant that came up for me earlier today, the one that's something about there are places we cannot, there are forces we cannot see. They're inside me. They remind me to be free. Does anyone know the rest of that?
That's a new one to me. It's beautiful.
Mystery.
I know it, Shell. I'll send you the words to it later.
Oh, sing it, brother. Sing it,
Nope,
sister.
I'll send you the words later.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's take another breath and just again put your roots down into the ground. And shake off some of this technological glitchiness. And maybe let it go with a big sound. And as you breathe, let's breathe up some of that fire from the earth, up through your roots, up through your feet and legs, up into the base of your spine, out the top of your head like branches. Feel them reach up to the sky and sweep back down, around again. Feel the sunlight on your leaves and branches. Take a deep breath and breathe that sunlight in and down. And all the way down to the earth. As you breathe in and breathe out, let's imagine this circle connecting us, sending out a little bit of that energy, taking hands across these strange fabrics of space and time. linking up. And you can imagine kind of as those little lines of energies link up with other ones, even a little sound like a and our circle is cast. And hopefully connecting everyone in the web who is now on YouTube or somewhere else, drawing them in so they can be here in the right Zoom room. Thank you. And thank you for those who shared poems in the other room. It's beautiful. All right. And taking a breath, I know Charles already called in the elements for us, but maybe we can also call them in for everyone with a little bit of a song. And this one is very simple. It just goes, air I am, fire I am, water, earth, and spirit I am. It's Deirdre Arthur who wrote this song. Air I am, fire I am, water, earth, and spirit I am. Air I am, fire I am, water, earth, and spirit I am. Air I am, fire I am, water, earth, and spirit I am. Air I am, fire I am, water, earth, and spirit I am. Air I am, fire I am, water, earth, and spirit I am. Air I am, fire I am, water, earth, and spirit I am. So welcome air and fire and water and earth. Welcome spirit. I often think about why is it air and fire and water and earth are the four elements in so many different cultures and traditions. And I believe it's because those are the things that are really common to us, the things that we need to sustain our lives. We can't live without breathing. We cannot live without energy, that great energy that circulates around the world. We have to have water. Water is life. Water is sacred, as all the elders remind us. We can't live without the things of the earth. And I think it's really good and really healthy for us to remind ourselves of that. Every time we do ritual, every time we do for me, when I do my daily meditations, it's part of developing a practice of gratitude, which I know can sound really sappy, but I think is one of the great counters to the overwhelming feelings of grievance and resentment that seem to be flooding the world these days, where some of the most privileged and powerful people have convinced themselves that they are, put upon and victimized and powerless. So just taking a breath right now, just take a moment and think about gratitude. Gratitude for each breath that we take. Gratitude for the energy that we have, for the water that we drink that sustains our lives, for all that the earth gives us, all the food we have. And gratitude for that great fifth element, the spirit, the thing that connects and links them all, that weaves us together. that inspires us. And now our circle is doubly and triply cast. The thing about gratitude is it's really hard to feel grievance and resentment and gratitude at the same time. So it's a very simple practice, but one I like to do every day, just to think about 5 things you're grateful for first thing in the morning. And I find it helps set up the day in a good way. It helps remind me of all the amazing and wonderful things that I have in my life. And it helps kind of keep me humble and keep me energized. So, since the theme of today is regeneration, I want to suggest that to you as a personal practice of regeneration. That's so simple, everyone can do it. But it's a really good one to practice in those moments where you start to feel like everything's against you. And now I'd like to call in Brigid, since this is her ritual. Brigid was the ancient Celtic goddess of fire and water. And I think she has a lot of links and connections to other powers of fire and water in different cultures around the world. For myself, out of my Jewish heritage, I like to think of Miriam, whose name actually contains yam, which is the Hebrew word for the ocean, for sea. And one of the stories about Miriam was that she had a well that followed her everywhere she went. So when the Jews were wandering in the desert, they always had fresh water. So I think of her as one of the many faces of that great regenerative power that today we're calling Brigid. But you may come from a different culture, different heritage that also has something that honors those amazing creative energies that are transformative and that are healing. And Brigid was the goddess of smithcraft, of the forge, because that's what forging is all about, fire, and then tempering and cooling with water. She was the goddess of poetry, because poetry is like fire of inspiration. And those ancient Celtic poets were not just, weavers of pretty words. Their poetry carried such power that if a poet made a satire, a negative poem against you, it could literally blister your face, kill you. I'm grateful that poetry seems to be having a revival in the world today. I don't think we're quite at that point yet. I think social media has taken up the role of blistering people's faces and driving them to bad ends, but maybe the power of poetry and truth can counter that to some extent. And healing, because healing is all about energies, the hotter energies of fire and the cooling and soothing and cleansing energies of water. And those are all energies I feel like we really need in the world today. And for many, many years, the time of Brigid became sort of our time of doing political ritual, because it began for us the year Ronald Reagan was elected, which was the election, I think, of 1980. And a lot of us found ourselves feeling political despair at that time. So we got together and we decided to do a Brigid ritual around political despair. We got everyone together. We had started in darkness. We passed around bowls of water where we could release into them where we felt powerless, and then we raised some energy and passed them around the other direction and spoke into them where we felt power in our lives. And then we put all the water together and we created a holy well out of a punch bowl. And we lit candles from a central flame. And each person came forward, made a pledge to Brigid, lit a candle, and danced with that candle. So you could see the whole room gradually starting in darkness and coming with one light after another light, after another light, after another light. It was really beautiful, beautiful ritual. And we saved some of that water. And we've been using it ever since in ritual and the center of gatherings and in our classes and our workshops. And I use it to make offerings. And I started collecting water from sacred places around the world. So I have some here, this Waters of the World. And I'd like you to take a moment and just close your eyes and think about water. All the beautiful healing, soothing qualities of water. How good it is when you're really thirsty to have a good, long, cool drink of clear, clean water. What a blessing that is. Water flowing in streams, water pooling into lakes, deep flow of water in rivers and oceans. You know, water is a shapeshifter, traveler. It goes all around the world, flows into the oceans, evaporates, comes back as rain. Every bit of water touches every other bit of water, goes into bodies, comes out again, transforms into vapor, freezes into ice. Take a breath, and with this sacred water, we bring our waters together, we bring our lives together. I want to make an offering to the elements, 4 directions. It's above and below, in the center. And to that great power of regeneration, we call Brigid, or by many other names. And to ask her to come into our ritual and be with us today. Holy well and sacred flame. And this is a chant that we can actually do. You can all unmute and we can do it all at once because it kind of overlays with each other in a beautiful chaos. Very simple, just holy well and sacred flame. Holy well and sacred flame. Holy well and sacred flame. Holy well and
Holy well, sacred
Holy
Sacred flame.
Holy well and
That was cool.
Welcome, Brigid. Welcome to the Holy Well and Sacred Flame. So I've got a poem for Bridget. You know, I really wanted to write a new one this year, and honestly, it just would not come. It kept coming out so dismal that I decided I needed to do the regeneration ritual first and then maybe write a poem. But this is one that I wrote last year that I think still fits for Brigid in the second year of the pandemic. Brigid the healer. We know the body's miracle capacity to mobilize, to guard its borders, to fight off intruders, to repair the damage once the battle is done. Not all battles can be won, and sometimes the damage is too great to mend, and sometimes the weapons are lies. Brigid of the forge. It takes fire to make disparate metals blend to an alloy stronger than either alone, and blow after blow of the hammer to forge a keen edge you can hone, a sword to cut through flesh and splinter bone, or a scalpel sharp to incise the cancer. How do we discern what we must know from desire in disguise? Not every question has an answer. Brigid the poet. Truth sets the tongue on fire. Truth can cauterize the suppurating sore. Truth can forge and anneal, but we need more. Hammer on anvil rings like a bell. May we drink from your clear well and heal. So welcome, Brigid the poet. And there's one more aspect of Brigid I want to invoke, because I've been working with this aspect a lot this year, especially doing political magic. I call her Lajfa, which stands for Liberty and Justice for All. And she started as Lady Liberty. You imagine the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor, her feet in the water, her torch of truth held high. Flame and water. I think of her as the American Brigid. And gradually she became amalgamated with the form of justice in the tarot card. You know, being a goddess, she can have multiple arms. She can be holding that sword that represents action and accountability, and the scales of justice under her other arm, where Lady Liberty holds the tablets of the law that applies to all without fear or favor. Just take a breath and hold that image in your mind for a moment. And now, imagine her robe. I like to think of it as her robed in a rainbow that represents our embrace of diversity. Diversity generates resilience in ecosystems in the natural world. So diversity of race, of gender, of ways of thinking, of background, all of those different things. Imagine if we lived in a world where we saw those as values as gifts, as making us richer and smarter and more intelligent. I see the beautiful red of vitality and the orange of creativity and sexuality. I see the yellow of clear mind and intellect and thinking, and the green of compassion, of love for the natural world and for each other. That beautiful turquoise blue of clear speech and true speech. The deep indigo of clear intuition. The beautiful violet of our real spiritual connections, all rippling through that robe, and see it rippling out over the land wherever we are. And welcome Lajva, welcome liberty and justice for all. So I promised you a journey to the well. And I think it's about time to do that. And I'd like to sing us in. And this chant actually started off with the words, "We will never lose our way to the well of her memory." But over time, that began to seem a little backward looking to me. And as we worked more with Lady Liberty, it kind of shifted to, we will never lose our way to the well of liberty. And the power of her living flame, it will rise again. We will never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame, it will rise again. We will never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame, it will rise again. We will never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame, it will rise again. We will never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame, it will rise again. We'll never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame will rise again. And take a breath. As you breathe deep, as you feel the breath coming in and out of your body, I'd like you to just think back on how this past winter has been for you. For some of you, you might even be in the southern hemisphere. It might be spring and summer. So if that's true, you can just shift this meditation so it works for you. But I'm going to kind of lead it as winter. Since for us here in the northern hemisphere, this is Brigid. This is what they would call spring's beginning. And take a breath and just think about all that's happened over the last few months. You know, for some people, it's been bitter, bitter cold like we haven't seen in a long, long time. For us here in Northern California, it's been wild winds and storms and rains. It's been floods, lightning, lots of fallen trees, windstorms. as you take a breath and as you imagine that and remember that, I'd like you to imagine that you've literally been on a journey through this time. And I don't know if, sometime this winter you've gone out and been caught in a rainstorm or a snowstorm, had to fight your way through flurries of snow, had to drive through dangerous conditions. I had one time where I was walking with my dog and it got caught in a cloudburst so intense and storms of hail and thunder and lightning. I even had moments of wondering if I was going to make it actually back to where I was staying. And maybe you physically had that experience. But if you take a breath, maybe there's some way in your personal life, in your emotional life, in your community life, that you've experienced some storms. Maybe there's people you expected to greet you with warmth and instead met freezing coldness or chill. Maybe there were times or situations you expected to be renewing and nurturing that instead turned out to be grueling, challenging, punishing. Just take a breath and feel what it's like to keep moving forward, to keep on your personal journey through all of that. And when you're out in the woods and you get caught in the rain and the wind, sometimes it's important to know when to take shelter and just stay where you are, maybe wait for rescue. Or wait for the storm to pass. And sometimes, it may be more important to keep your eye on the goal, to know where you're going or where you want to get to, even if you don't know every twist and turn of the path. And just keep moving. Take a breath and let yourself think about the choices you've made, and the choices that you face. And for those of you who might be in another season right now, sometimes the obstacles aren't cold and wind. Sometimes the obstacles are heat and drought and thirst. ever been caught out on a hike and run out of water? And you stop thinking clearly sometimes. You stop making good decisions. Just take a breath and let us acknowledge that in many ways this journey is often not an easy one. And yet now it is time to keep moving and to move on. We will never, never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame will rise again. We will never, never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame will rise again. So take a breath and imagine that you do move on, step by step. It doesn't really matter what your physical body can actually do. In this, your spirit body, just notice how you move. Are you walking? Are you gliding? Are you crawling? Are you moving in some other way? What does the ground feel like underneath you? And what is it that pulls you forward? And as you move forward, I'd like you to imagine that you carry with you some kind of a flame. It may be just your own life spark that you guard and hold. It may be the spark of flame from that torch of liberty that you cherish. Maybe a spark of the flame of justice. Maybe a spark of creativity. Just take a breath and notice how you carry it. You know, sometimes you can carry the flame just in the wick of an unlit candle. Sometimes it's really hard to carry that flame when there seem to be so many forces around trying to put it out. But you keep on moving. And as you do, you notice that within you, there is a strength. You know, in spite of all the obstacles, all the storms, the winds, the heat, or the floods, whatever it is for you, within you there is something as strong as a living flame that never burns out. That was what keeps you on this journey. What keeps you alive, what keeps you moving forward. And as you do move forward, you realize that strength is something you can depend on. It can bring you out of danger. It can bring you out on the path, out from where the trees are falling and the branches are flying. As you move forward, you can leave behind some of those obstacles. That time of terrible cold or terrible heat, that time of thirst or too much water and flood. Those steep hills you climbed with so much effort and pain. Those sharp drops down that sometimes are harder to navigate even than the climbs up. And taking a breath, you realize something is pulling you forward now. It's like a sweet smell on the air. Like the scent of water. Like the hint of warmth of sun breaking through the clouds. Of respite after the storm. And you take a breath and you look out, and in front of you there opens up a whole new vista. A realm of all kinds of new possibilities, new pathways, new journeys, new destinations. Take a breath, just smell the air. Feel it. Oh, feel the blessing of that little warm ray of sunshine on your skin. As you move forward, you see ahead of you in this landscape, there's a well. As you take a breath, you begin to notice what that well looks like for you, because that well looks different for every single one of us. And yet for all of us, it is a source that sings with the joy of replenished watersheds after plentiful rain, of living waters bubbling up from the earth, of seeds putting forth new roots and new sprouts, of springs beginning. Take a breath and let yourself find your way to the well. And you can kneel down or crouch down before it. You can dip your hands in. You can feel the coolness, that living water. You can bathe in it. You can take a deep breath and you can drink from it. Take a drink. breathe in, just draw it in, fill yourself. Whatever energy you've expended in making this journey, whatever life force it's worn thin from so many obstacles, whatever hopes, whatever spark of creativity, just take a breath, drink it in, replenish, draw it in. As you do, you begin to feel a beautiful energy flowing through you, filling you. Moving into your blood and your breath, filling every part of your body, your mind, refreshing your spirit. This is the endless well. This is the well that cannot run dry. The well that is always here for us to drink from. The well of renewal. Brigid's well. Her well of healing. We will never, never lose our way to the well of liberty. Power of her living flame, it will rise again. We will never, never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame, it will rise again. We will never, never lose our way to the well of liberty, and the power of her living flame, it will rise again. So taking a breath, just fill yourself with the waters of that well. Take in everything that you need, knowing you deserve it. It is what you need to care for yourself so that you can continue to be an agent of regeneration in this world. And that this well is always here for you, always here for you to drink from and renew yourself. And like the well of Miriam, it follows us wherever we go. And take a breath. As you breathe, let yourself notice that alongside this well, there is a little place of fire. A fire that may take many forms. It might be a hearth fire where many people are gathered. It might be a single candle that you can light. It might be a blaze. It might be a spark. A campfire. A bonfire. Take a breath. Let yourself see what that fire is like for you. As you find that fire, remember that spark that you carry. That through all the obstacles, all the trials, has never gone out. And even though we drink from the well, we drink water. It's not a water that ever quenches that flame, but instead makes it stronger, makes us stronger. Take a breath, and as you feel that fire within you, as you see that place of fire, it might be a torch, a hold high. Just ask yourself what it is that Brigid wants from you this coming year. Is there a pledge that you want to make, a promise to fire and water, promise to yourself? If so, know that you can drink more from this well if you need it. To help it replenish your strength, your confidence, whatever it is you need to fulfill that pledge. And when you're ready, you can light that fire. If you're not ready now, you can wait. You can wait till it comes to you. You can light that fire at any time. If you are ready now and you want your pledge to be witnessed, you can put it into the chat. But as we each light our little fires, let's take a breath and let us realize that even though each one of us drinks from our own unique well, it is a great common well that we are all gathered at, and a great common hearth. And as every small fire is lit, the big fire begins to blaze. A fire of welcome, a fire of warmth, a fire of healing and regeneration. And let's take a breath and let us send some energy to that fire and to that well for the regeneration of our lands and our communities and our people. We will never, never lose our way to the well of liberty and the power of her living flame. It will rise again. We will never, never lose our way to the well of liberty and the power of her living flame. It will rise again. Never, never lose our way to the well of liberty and the power of her living flame. It will rise again. And take a breath and just know that that flame goes with you, and that well will follow you wherever you go. And that hearth fire remains and can call us together whenever we need our common strength, our common inspiration. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe in and out, say thank you to the fire and to the well. And take a moment and remember their gifts and the gifts of the strength you have found within yourself for making this journey. And look ahead into that land of spring's beginning, where there will be rainstorms and showers, but also sunshine, where there will be heat, but also water to quench our thirst, and where so many new things are beginning to bud and blossom. Take a breath, and now let us breathe ourselves back into our own physical bodies, saying thank you to Brigid, to the well, and to the flame. Taking 3 deep breaths together, breathing in and out. Remembering your pledge and the gifts of regeneration. Breathing in and out. Remembering your strength as a carrier of fire. Breathing in and out. As the drum fades away, let's bring ourselves back to our physical senses. And taking a breath, just notice how you feel physically, where you're sitting or standing, moving. How the air feels on your skin. Taking deep breath in, notice what you smell and taste. Notice what you hear. Open your eyes and notice what you see. And welcome back. And maybe take a moment if you want to look at some of the beautiful pledges people have put into the chat. Thank you for sharing them. All right. Everybody fully back in your body now? Well, it's time to begin saying our thank yous. But I want to actually light my candle. My own pledge is pretty simple this year. I just pledge to write more. And I encourage you, if you have a candle, to light it. If you don't have a candle with you right now, find one sometime today, say your pledge, light your candle. I also recommend writing your pledge down and putting it somewhere where you can find it. Because I sometimes have a hard time next Brigid remembering what it was I pledged at the last Brigid. These pledges do have a way of shaping your year a little bit in some ways. And that can be a good way. It can also, I remember once watching my brother who came to a Brigid ritual stand up and make his pledge and say something like, "Oh, Brigid, rip me apart, tear me open, take my life and reshape it." And I was like, "Oh no, Mark, don't do that. You'll get what you ask for." And I will say that, I started by talking about our Waters of the World ritual, our political despair ritual back in the early 80s. And it was interesting, the way that ritual worked was by the end of that year, many of us who were part of that ritual formed an affinity group and went down to Diablo Canyon to blockade a nuclear power plant being built on an earthquake fault. And that opened up for us, for many of us, a whole lifetime of doing nonviolent direct action, of organizing with affinity groups and consensus and horizontal organizations. It really shaped our entire lives. So I guess that's the warning. Magic sometimes can be dangerous. It can open up things for you, and you can get what you ask for, but it may not be exactly what you, in the form you thought you were going to get it. All right. So, I want to say our thank yous to Brigid in all of her forms, as healer, as poet, as smith, as Lady Liberty, as Lajba, liberty and justice for all. May you continue to hold your torch of truth high. May your rainbow robe flood the land with love and resilience and appreciation of our diversity. May your powers of truth overcome the powers of lies. And Charles, do you want to thank the elements?
Yeah, I can thank the elements. Come on here. So again, I would like to invite you all to help me thank the elements. And just take a deep place. Take a deep breath from that place that we just were at. And with gratitude to the center, to Spirit. Say thank you. And farewell. To earth, to water, to fire, to air. So thank you, elements. Thank you for joining us. And may you go to where you need to or stay. But for today, we say hail and thank you. And farewell.
So our circle now is open but unbroken. Before we completely open it, I want to say thank you to Charles and Mariah and our whole team who helped with this, Elizabeth, who helped with the beautiful imagery, Allie, who helped us with the images and the promotion for all of this, and to our wonderful interpreters, Sarah and Guy and Isis, and to Diane Perazzo for the closed captions. And to let you know, we've got a lot of wonderful stuff coming up. Like I said, the proceeds from this ritual will help support our diversity scholarships and our work trade for activists. We have an in-person intensive coming up in the beautiful Cazadero Hills, where you can come for 9 days of immersion in nature and nature connection and ritual, with a special focus on forestry and animals and fire and how to tend and care for and train animals in our systems. I'm going to be teaching it together with Delilah Wilson, who's an amazing animal whisperer. And you can come and take it purely for your own restoration, or you can take it as part of our larger program on regenerative land management, which will be starting a new cohort this year. That is a longer term training in permaculture and going much, much deeper into the science and the skills of regeneration. And we've got some other wonderful stuff that's here in the chat. Resilient Land Design, which is an online course that really goes into the science and theory of water and soil and forests and food forests. We have just finished permaculture design course, but we will have an online course starting this year and an in-person course up in British Columbia in the summer. I think I'm also going to be having one in Germany in August, so we're still developing that, but watch for that. We're going to do a special short course in permaculture for climate activists that, like this, is by donation. So if you know activists who want to learn more about what the solutions are and also learn some tools to counter the burnout and the despair we often are feeling as activists, that's coming up in March. And yeah, lots of other wonderful stuff. Charles is going to be teaching sustainable infrastructure. I guess that's next year, right? Or maybe it's happening.
No, it's in the summer.
It's in the summer. It says January. But lots of really amazing stuff coming up. So if you want to learn the actual practical skills and the theory and understanding and science of how to literally regenerate ecosystems, that's what we do at Earth Activist Training, and we are very proud of it and love doing it and love to see you as part of it. I'm also going to be doing another round of ritual skills starting in March. So look for that. We don't have the registration and everything quite up for it yet, but it's going to be happening. If you want to be on the list for that, you can go to my website, starhawk.org, and sign up there, and you'll get notified about it. And later on, I think next fall, I'm going to do a more advanced ritual course, particularly focused on trance leading and story for ritual. So, with all of that, thank you to all of you for joining in, and thank you for contributing. This really helps us to provide scholarships and work trade for people so we can keep our courses accessible. And we're very grateful for all your participation. Oh, and Ajay is here. Ajay is our wonderful assistant teacher for our last course and has been different times on our team as tech coordinator and many other things. Thank you, Ajay, for all that you've contributed. So now say, by the earth that is her body, by the air that is her breath, by the fire of her bright spirit, by the waters of her living womb, our circle is open but unbroken. And may the peace of the goddess go in your heart. Merry meet, merry part.